Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about assignment 2. In this assignment, according to the instruction, you need to create a personal gallery website using HTML and CSS. The website should consist of 4 pages, each with a different set of images. However, all pages should have the same theme, which should be consistent throughout the website. That means the 4 pages should have the same structure, should have the same theme, should have the same menu. In fact, you are allowed to use any picture that you want, but it's suggested to use your personal pictures to prove that you have done this work yourself, not copied from someone else. And make sure to pay attention to the technical requirements. Here, the instruction says that you are only allowed to use tags and CSS rules that you have learned in Unit 1 to Unit 6. Any code beyond those units is considered cheating, and you will receive a score of 0 for the assignment. This is a very important point, and you need to follow this recommendation. All pages should have the same structure, including a navigation bar that links to the other pages of your website. Use appropriate tags and attributes to structure your HTML code. Note that you are only allowed to use the stuff that we learned in Unit 1 to Unit 6. That means we are looking for a very simple and basic website, not a fancy one. And don't worry about making it very fancy or moving picture around the page. Just some pictures and some text for each page works perfect. Okay, let's start. I open Visual Studio Code. Then I go to the File menu and choose Open Folder option. Then I go to a place that I want to store my website. So I want to store my website in this folder, and in this new subfolder, I name it Assignment 2. I create this folder and select this one. The folder is empty, I just created. So I need 4 pages. Let's see. One of them is home page. So I name it home.html. The second one should be named landscape, for example. And I recommend to use lowercase character when you want to name a file. And for the third one, I create an HTML page, name it portrait.html. And the last one, still life, still_life.html. We try to avoid using spaces when we want to name files. And also I should have one CSS file to define my CSS rules for all those web pages. Okay, I start with the home page. I define my template in the home page, and when I'm done with the template, I copy the template into the rest of the HTML files. Okay, let's start with doctype HTML, which says that this file is HTML5 code. This file contains HTML5 code, and then HTML tag with attribute lang equal en to say that this is an HTML page containing some text in English. Then each HTML element should have two sections, a head section and a body section. In the head, we define the configuration of our web page, like the title of the web page, which will be shown in top of the browsers. Also, we define the character encoding of our web page. We said that we choose UTF-8, which supports the most modern Western languages. And we should have a link element which allows us to link a CSS file to our web page. In Visual Studio, if you press the Control key on your keyboard and click on a link, Visual Studio tries to open the link. So this is a fast way to navigate from one file to another file, or from one link to another link. Now, let's define the structure of our web site. We have different style, the different web page style. For now, I am going to have a header on top. Then beneath of the header, I want to have my menu region, and underneath of the menu, I want to have the main section, and I don't need a footer section. In the header section, I want to just type personal gallery with h1 tag. And after that, I want to write my name. We can preview the page to see what we have done so far. In the navigation area, we need to have 4 links. The first one should point to the home.html page. Oh, I copy and paste this 3 more times. The second one should point to the landscape page. And the third link should point to the portrait page. Portraits, landscapes, home. And the last one to the still life page, still life. Okay. Also, allow me to add some dummy text in the main section. Because we are going to design the scheme, we need to see what the main area looks like. Okay, it's time to work on the style of the web page. So I go to the style sheet file And here we should usually start with the biggest tag, biggest element that covers the rest of the stuff. Here, the body tag is the biggest element that includes every other stuff. So we start with the body tag. Okay. Now, when we want to style our website, we should follow some considerations which we learned in Unit 4. Unit 4, Web Design. There are some stuff here. We had some policies for color schemes. I go to the color section, and here we learned that our color choices must have some relation to each other. Here we introduced 3 websites that can help you to choose some colors and some relative colors. Let me open this link, one of these links, for example here. In this website, you can choose the relationship between colors. Colors can be complementary, which provides the highest contrast between 2 colors. Monochromatic, which means that 2 colors are in the same tune. And analogous, which means that colors which are close to each other. And triadic, 3 colors that provides the most contrast with each other. If you want to choose 3 colors that provide the most contrast with each other, you should choose triadic colors. Here I'm going to choose analogous colors. For example, this one, and here you can change the intensity of the colors. I choose this code for the background color of my web page, and for the navigation area I choose this one, which is analogous to the main color, like this. And for the header section, I choose the 3rd one. Okay. And I want to choose the background color. I want to keep the background color of the main region as the background color of the body, so I don't change it. We can decide about the font color of each region, but I will talk about that later. We see that there is some gaps between different regions. For example, this is header region, has some gap with the border of page. One simple solution to this problem is to write a generic rule. Star means this rule should be applied on everything, and set margin equals to 0 pixel. Margin specifies the minimum distance, minimum gap that should be between the element and its surrounding element. Now when we set it to 0, that means that we don't want to have any gap between the element and its surrounding element. That's why you see that the header is stuck to the body tag, the navigation is stuck to header tag, and the main section starts right after the NAV tag. This is one simple solution, but it eliminates all the margins, which is not good usually. You should do something more meaningful. Here we want to set the margin of the body section to 0 pixel. We see that the gaps between the body tag and the border of the element, the border of the browser is removed, but we still some gaps between the top of the header section and the border. This is a strange situation. This happens because the default gap created by h1 tags. So we set margin equals 0 pixel. We remove that gap. Also, there is some gap between this area and the navigation area. So it is again because of the gap between the header tags. In this case, h2 tag. We set margin equals to 0 pixel. We remove that gap. But we see that these two h tags are really close to each other. So here I say only the top margin should be 0. And for the h1, I say only the bottom margin should be 0. Now, there is some gap here, but we still need to have more gap around the header items. This time, I'm going to do something wise and add padding to the header tag, which is the container of these two tags, these two elements. Padding means the space, the minimum space between the border of an element and its content. Okay, I set it to 10 pixel. As you see, now we have at least 10 pixel gap between the border of the header element and its content, which are the h1 and h2 elements. Okay, let's do the same thing for the navigation tag. I add some padding, say 5 pixel. Now we have at least 5 pixel gap between the border of the NAV tag and its content, which are these links. Okay. Now let's decorate the links, our menu. So I say inside NAV, all A tags should follow this rule. First of all, I want to change the decoration, the default decoration of, actually I want to remove the default decoration of A tags. So I set them to none. Now you see that the underlines under these links are gone. I can say background color should be, for example, tomato, and I may add some paddings, 3 pixel, to this. Also, look at this. If I set width for this element, for example, 80 pixel, it doesn't work. Why? Because A tags are inline elements. You can change the default behavior of an element. I want to change it from inline to inline block. Inline block allows us to specify width and height for elements, while it allows us to put some elements before and after an element at the same horizontal line. Okay, I say text align equals center to move the text to the middle of the links. You may say border radius equals 3 pixel to add some fancy feature to your buttons. Now it looks like a button. Also, you should do something like this. You will learn this later, but it's good to know that if you add a colon after an element, you can specify some specific situation and specify a rules for that specific situation. One of the specific situation is when a mouse hovering over an element. Now here I am defining a rule for A tags which are inside an AV tag while a mouse is hovering on them. So in this case, I want to say change the background color, for example, to red. Now, when I move my mouse over this element, their color changes to red and gives nice feeling of these buttons. Okay, that's it. For the main region, I want to just add some padding. Say 5 pixel, because I want to have some gap between the content of the main region and the border of the element, border of the browser. Okay, also if you want, you can change the color of A tags color, for example, black, yellow. Okay. Now, what you need to do is go to your HTML code, copy all these code, and paste it in the rest of your HTML page. So all of them will have the same title. Now in the home, I go to the title element and set it to home. In the landscape, I type landscape, and here portrait, here still life, and also I change this, I put this text here because I want you to see the website in action. Okay, now look at this. it seems that I am still in the same page when I click on these buttons, because all those pages have the same structures, the same theme, and only the main area, the content of the main area is changed. Okay. Now assume I want to add some pictures to each of these web pages. You have two options when you want to use pictures. Sometimes you want to show the pictures that you own them, and you want to put those pictures in your website. In that case, assume here, for example, I want to put these pictures on my web page, on my website. So I need to copy this page somewhere inside inside the folder that my website is located. If you forgot where you stored your HTML files, you can just right-click on one of them, and from the pop-up menu, you can choose Reveal in File Explorer. Now, I see my HTML pages are here. You can just paste the pictures here, copy and paste the pictures here, and the pictures will be shown in the Explorer of your Visual Studio Code. Or a better choice is to create a subfolder, for example, image, and put your image or photos in that folder to organize better your website. Now, here, if I want to show the picture, I add an image tag, and in src attribute of the img element, I should type the relative address of the photos. Relative means the address of the file from where I am, from this file is. So from this file, we should go to the image folder and type the name of the file which is in this folder. If you do everything right, as you see, Visual Studio opens a pop-up window and shows the list of files in that subfolder. Assume I want to show this picture, and you can specify a text for your picture. This text will not be shown by default. It will be shown if your picture for any reason cannot be shown to users, or it will be used by assistant tools to help disabled people to understand what the picture is about. Okay, just say Rosa and close the tab. This picture is a big picture, so we should assign a class to control the size of the picture. I named the class my photo, and in the CSS file, I define a rule for the class my photo. As you know, if you want to define a rule for a class, you should put a dot and then write the name of the class. Here I want to control the width of the picture. Here I'm using relative unit percent. I said the width of the picture should be 50% of its container. So the picture grows and shrinks by resizing the browser. Okay. To make it more professional, here I put it in a div tag. add some text underneath of this picture. This is me when I was traveling to, for example, in May 2021, something like this. Now, if you want, you can add a class for this div tag, say my photo frame, and then define a rule for it. Again, that's my photo frame, say background color, this one, padding, say 10 pixel, border 3 pixel, the style double, and the color solid, for example. Sorry, the color black. You see, and you may want to add margin, to add gaps between each frame and its surrounding element, for example, 20 pixel. Now, if I go here and I can add another picture. This time I want to show the second picture. Now you see each picture has its own frame and it has a text. You can do more sophisticated stuff, but not with the knowledge that we learn in Unit 1 and to Unit 6. You will do more sophisticated stuff later when you learn more, and those are the subject of the third assignment. Okay, now assume I want to add another picture, which is basically is somewhere on the internet, not on my own website. So to do something like that, you should put the absolute address of that picture. Absolute address means the full internet address. For example, assume I want to show this picture which is on my profile on the internet in Augusta University's website. So I right click on the picture and from the pop-up menu I choose copy image address. And then I paste the image address in this RC attribute of the image tag. You see, this is the full web address of the picture. Now that picture is shown as part of my own website. That's it. You will need to do the similar stuff for the rest of the page.